Well, I have to tell you first, it's amazing to be back in Pratt's, my first time back in Pratt's second century. Pretty amazing. In this incredible hangar, which I haven't seen since it's been redone. It's truly amazing. Wonderful to see so many friends and colleagues and so many senior leaders. Rick, so glad you're here tonight. And of course, my former boss, the president of the entire military engines team, Jill, I'm glad you're here. You know, it's pretty daunting. It's pretty humbling to be the last speaker after listening to the amazing achievements of our Hall of Fame inductees and listening to all of the sage advice and insights from the three other luminaries. So I'll do my best. It is daunting to also know that especially for the more seasoned, mature, and experienced people in the room, I'm also the last person standing between you and a restroom break. So I'll do my best to be fairly concise. So I think everybody knows that all pilot stories start the same. There I was. September 2017. I'm in West Palm Beach and in a meeting with the then Director of Propulsion for the U.S. Air Force and his contracting team. And the meeting was fairly contentious. It was all about how poorly Pratt & Whitney performed as part of proposal delivery and getting on contract. In fact, I looked in my notes to make sure that I got the quote exactly right. He said, Pratt & Whitney is the worst in industry for proposal quality and timely delivery, as well as the most difficult to get on contract. If you don't fix it, we'll find alternatives. Well, so I went, wish I could have gone supersonic to get back to East Hartford, but I took a regular, probably not GTF powered at the time, but got back to East Hartford, talked with the then president of military engines, Matthew Bromberg, about what the director of propulsion had said, and I got very clear leader's intent. M2, fix it ASAP. Sure, easy, no problem. Starting in November 2017, we stood up a cross-functional Tiger team that started with a deep dive. And what they found is that the military engines proposal process was decentralized, non-standardized, and the designated proposal lead was different every time. And he or she literally walked the proposal through every step of the process to the different organizations. It truly was a one-person show for each proposal. There were also split responsibilities. So Emmy delivered the proposal, but finance was responsible for providing the budget and keeping the metrics. And the metrics that we had, the only metrics that we had, showed that we had about a 65% on-time delivery, which is well below industry standards. But what the Air Force said was, actually, it's more like 35 or 40% because really you're talking about on-time delivery to the third or fourth or fifth extension. So, and it was hard for us to debate that because we didn't have any data. So after we did the deep dive, then they identified industry best practices. We were really lucky because Sikorsky, a sister company when we were with United Technologies, had one of the best proposal centers of excellence in the industry. And they were very helpful. As previous speakers have talked about, everybody was willing to help us. Sikorsky provided us with all the documents, their standard operating procedures, their booklet and training manuals, and it helped us immensely. So after we looked through all that, the recommendation was to stand up a new organization to centrally manage all proposal and contracting activities. The only way to go fast was to essentially take the Sikorsky model, modify it, and then apply it to Pratt & Whitney. And as you might expect, it was a perfect fit. The Sikorsky model moved into Pratt & Whitney, into ME, was absolutely perfect. So, right. So in any case, President approved that in November 2017. We took the holidays with a deep breath, and then in January 2018, the Tiger team began, they built a very, very detailed plan. It included the mission, very clear mission statement, a standardized process modified from Sikorsky, the organizational structure that would essentially oversee the process, the scheduling requirements, including an annual forecast and budget, which we did not have a proposal forecast and a budget applied to that before 2019. So, and then the resources, which, as everybody knows, it's really easy to get additional people and additional money and office space, but in fact, actually, across ME, very helpful. We found that we needed 50 people from internal to military engines with various areas of expertise, estimators, proposal support, schedulers, et cetera. We needed about 25 to 30 finance experts from government pricing as part of the organization. 3 or 4 people from operations, because they would be the interface with the suppliers, and then 15 external, because we didn't have anything close to what we would call a proposal manager. No experience at all. So we had to go external to prior. We also had to define what the digital tools, what the data management systems were going to be, and then what are the metrics to start. On-time delivery and turnbacks were the only 2 that we really could really use to get started if we were going to go quickly. So, and then most importantly, you got to have a cool name, right? I mean, you can't go with the, it's the proposal center of excellence like Sikorsky. So Candace Berry was one of the members of the Tiger team, and she was kind of talking, just mulling, thinking about things, and she said, we've got to have a name that describes what we do. It's going to be the home base for all of the proposals and contracting activity across military engines. So everybody put everything up on the board. How do we make BASE? And it's like, can't do it. So hence, the Business Acquisition Center of Excellence is the home base. From there, we hired the first director, Julie Donahue, and got started. By July 2018, we were simultaneously still building, still testing, but we began executing. We started by bringing the F-135 proposal team, which was mature, self-contained, did only F-135 proposals, but they had experience. So we brought them over as the seed corn, and then formed the rest of the team, brought in additional personnel from across the programs, across from business development, from operations, and filled in around them, and then continued to work to hire, as you might expect. We were having a very difficult time and delays in finding external hires that would fit into the organization. So, but we were working that. We picked a test proposal and ran it through the entire process. The BACE team ran it with help from program SMEs, and then began to transition the proposals over program by program. So F-100 team came over. We already had the F-135 team, worked it all the way through until we got to the classified programs. And again, as you might expect, the advanced programs with classifications and all of the restrictions that you had made it a special case, so we had to put it off to the side as we continue to go faster and faster and faster. Startup was smooth, no problems, everything went exactly as we planned. Oh yeah. I just want to check and see if everybody's awake out there. Just checking, just checking. So actually it was really, I'll use the term, it was choppy. It was really choppy. We were still modifying the tools. We were changing behaviors from self-protection inside and across those that didn't believe that we needed to change, to participation, to actually helping and participating in the new organization. And we're still building out the new process and finding out what works and what doesn't. So. As we got started, as we went through for the first 6 months, and then we started to see the proposals get higher. We had higher volume, they got more complex, and then the automated tools weren't working, surprise, surprise, weren't working exactly as we had expected. So by, I would say, May or June of 2019, I had been traveling quite a bit, doing international travel, and Julie had been and the team had been really working hard. But it got to the point where it was pretty clear from the survey results and then from just walking around that the team was overworked, they felt undervalued, and they truly were under attack. So I stopped all my travel for the rest of the year. And we took a strategic pause. And the team came up with a 31-hour immersion program. And they titled it, How an RFP Becomes a Contract. And we went through it step by step by step, cell by cell by cell, so that we could understand from pre-submittal all the way through to on contract what every task, what every detail was. It was the process. I think the understanding of the process was extremely valuable, especially since we identified the choke points, which were the main sticking point. We locked in the organization. We were done fiddling with it. We locked it in for stability. We closed the training gaps. We established a training program and created a training guide, and then executed a new funding strategy and added investments in automation and digital tools, and developed quantitative metrics with a institutional feedback to ME leadership. One of the things we found is that as you're hunkered down doing the work, without taking your head up, we didn't have an institutional feedback loop for the president and the ELT, so that they could understand the challenges that BACE was facing, as well as what they're doing right. And in fact, actually, we had seen a pretty substantial improvement in on-time delivery and in compliance. In November 2019, we started an education program across ME with the programs. We brought SMEs in from the programs and certified them as part of the proposal team, and then we restarted operations. In 2020 and 2021, we reaped the benefits. The BACE team reaped the benefits from the investment in automated tools and its growth and experience into a more mature organization with experienced professionals and participation and buy-in from the programs. It was amazing to actually watch this rheostat go from "thou shalt not" to "you must do." And it really was a rheostat over time. But by the end of 2021, the BACE had delivered a record number of on-time proposals with very, very few turnbacks. The U.S. Air Force especially was very pleased. In 2022 and 2023, we saw even more improvement. In May of 2022, Julie received a much-deserved promotion and moved on. Jarita Brazil took over as the director of BACE, and the organization transformed into a cutting-edge change engine organization. It was amazing to watch. Improved efficiency and effectiveness at every turn. During that time, it achieved an industry first. It digitized the proposal and contracting process and delivered to the Department of Defense the first 100% electronic proposal, no paper. It was pretty amazing. And then at the end of 2023, DoD recognized Pratt & Whitney as top tier for quality and timely proposals as a benchmark across the industry. And then you fast forward to today, and BACE is the innovate and accelerate phase, where there's nothing new to today's a new day. So we've got our new and improved digital tool. We've got advanced analytics. They've implemented a virtual proposal center that is the central hub for all proposal and contracting. It's where performers want to go. But it took a long time. So what are the lessons learned? Change is easy. But not in my experience. Change is hard, it's messy. You can expect resistance. No. You can expect vicious resistance. So, Borg-like resistance. So, people and organizations, they don't like going from the familiar to the unknown. They certainly don't like going from the comfortable to chaotic. Certainly in the beginning, where change is always chaotic. So, it has to start with a detailed, well thought out plan. It's everything, especially in a crisis, or especially when you have to go fast. That framework, you have to take the time to sit down and develop that plan. But as we all know, no plan survives first contact with reality. So you execute the plan until the facts and assumptions change. And then the team and the leaders have to have the courage to change to match the environment. You have to be able to adapt and overcome as the changes come to you. Mid-course corrections, critically important. That strategic pause probably saved the organization, because otherwise, I think the people would have just been so tired and the organization just probably wouldn't have survived. So, second is, and we all know this, in fact, the lessons learned are very similar to everything that you've heard already, is you hire great people, you give them clear guidance and the required resources, then get the hell out of the way, right? Let them roll, let them go. One key thing that I did learn, and I think Julie would agree, is that you bring in excellent top performers, but you also have to bring in excellent performers that are good teammates. You have to be able to trust the person next to you, the person above you, and the person that works for you, because that trust is what is going to enable you to overcome the resistance that you look in the future. That you'll see. Leaders also have to know when to step in. Even when the team doesn't think they need it, leaders have to know when it's time to step in and help them, not micromanage them. It's your job to provide them with additional resources if they need it, or protection when they need it as well. So change takes time. No matter what the director of propulsion said about change it, and you need to change it as soon as you can, I would say that the BACE team actually was fully operationally capable after 3 years. It took 3 years from day one, ground up, build an organization, and now, after the 3 years, BACE was institutional, and now I don't think that ME could perform its mission without the team doing what they do. As we heard earlier, persistence, persistence, persistence. Don't take no for an answer. Keep pressing forward. Internal resistance is fierce, so you have to build advocacy at every level, and you have to listen to your critics. Be prepared to answer the questions. You took our people, you took our money. What are we getting back for that? Where's the value? Why change? We tried it before, it didn't work. It's too expensive. We've always done it that way. You've got to change the narrative from it won't work to what do you think we should do to make it work? Bring them in as participants, as part of the team. Easier said than done, but it's persistence that carries the day. So comms are super important. You do that by developing those personal relationships that we've talked about and that are so key to the mission across the board at Pratt & Whitney. It's what builds trust and buy-in from the team. It requires human-to-human contact. Now, I love Zoom, I love Teams, but it's not the same as being able to sit down at a table or sit across the room or sit next to each other and have a conversation. Critically important. You have to find ways to incorporate everyone into the team and include them in the wins. So those are the lessons learned, pretty consistent with what you've heard tonight. Never give up, never give up, never give up. That mentality is what made Pratt & Whitney the world's propulsion leader for over a century and will accelerate us into the future for Century 2, Century 3, and Century 4. Thanks, everybody.